General Hospital spoilers Tuesday, October 7th. Britt grills Josslyn. Liz asks Portia if she's pregnant. Tuesday's episode of General Hospital, GH, is one you won't forget. A day when emotions flare, secrets bubble to the surface, and two women stand at the edge of revelations that could change Port Charles forever. As Britt Westbourne digs into Josslyn Jax with sharp precision and Elizabeth Webber quietly corners Portia Robinson about a life-altering suspicion, the drama in town takes on a pulse that's both dangerous and deeply personal. This 4,000-word breakdown unpacks every intense scene, from Britt's icy interrogation to Lizzie's shocking confrontation, with full emotional depth, intrigue, and those signature GH twists that fans live for. The morning opens at General Hospital, and the camera pans through the hallways that hum with urgency. Nurses hurry between rooms, monitors beep, and the faint aroma of coffee drifts from the staff lounge. Inside that lounge, Dr. Britt Westbourne leans against the counter, arms folded, her sharp eyes scanning the file in her hands. Britt has been back in Port Charles for only a few weeks, and already her instincts are on fire. Something about Josslyn Jax doesn't add up, and Britt, who has made a career out of reading people, is determined to get to the bottom of it. When Josslyn walks in, nervous, holding a cup of coffee she barely tastes, Britt doesn't waste a second. "Morning, Josslyn," Britt greets coolly, voice dripping with that blend of authority and sarcasm only she can pull off. "You've been spending quite a bit of time here lately. Volunteering, right?" Joss flashes a polite smile. "Yeah, just helping out when I can. I figured it might be good to get some hospital experience before." "Before what?" Britt cuts in, eyes narrowing. "Before med school? Or before your next big cover-up?" The remark hits hard. Joss stiffens. "Excuse me." Britt smirks. "You're awfully defensive for someone who's just handing out charts and coffee." She steps closer, her tone suddenly colder. "You were in the ICU last night after visiting Drew Kane. Why?" Joss looks away. "He's a family friend." "Is that all?" Britt presses, circling her like a predator who smells blood. "Because from what I hear, you were asking questions about medication schedules and visitor logs. That's not standard volunteer behavior." Joss's eyes flicker. "I just wanted to help." Britt slams the file shut. "Help who? Josslyn? Drew? Or yourself?" The silence that follows feels heavy. Joss's throat tightens. Britt's stare doesn't waver. For a brief moment, it feels like Britt already knows something that could blow everything wide open. Joss rushes out of the lounge and heads for the elevator, her hands shaking as she texts Dex. "Britt's asking questions. Too close. We need to talk." As she exits the hospital, Trina Robinson spots her. "Joss, you okay? You look like you just saw a ghost." Joss forces a laugh. "Just tired. Long shift." Trina isn't convinced. She's juggling her own problems, her mother's distance, Curtis's recent coldness, but she can tell her best friend's hiding something. "Does this have anything to do with Dex?" Trina asks quietly. Joss hesitates, then lies. "No. It's just hospital stuff. Britt's on a power trip." But Trina knows Britt's not the type to interrogate without reason. Her gaze lingers as Joss hurries off, and for the first time, she wonders if she's being shut out of something much darker. Across the hospital, Elizabeth Webber is finishing up her shift. Her mind, however, isn't on her patients, it's on Portia Robinson. Over the past week, Liz has noticed subtle changes in Portia's demeanor. Fatigue. Mood swings. And this morning, when Liz saw Portia pause by the nurse's station, pressing a hand to her stomach as if to steady herself, a quiet alarm went off in Lizzie's head. As they walk together toward the break room, Liz starts gently. "Hey, Portia, you've been looking a little pale lately. Everything okay?" Portia forces a smile. "Just tired. Long nights. You know how it is." Liz nods but doesn't back down. "You sure that's all? Because if I didn't know better, I'd say you're fighting something. Or maybe, you're expecting something." Portia freezes. The air between them thickens. "What are you implying, Elizabeth?" Lizzie's voice softens, but her eyes stay steady. "I'm asking if you could be pregnant." For a long moment, Portia doesn't answer. Her hands tremble slightly as she sets down her coffee. Then she whispers, "You have no idea how complicated that question is." Back in her office, Britt flips through medical records. She's not one to trust easily, but her instincts tell her something about Josslyn ties directly to the chaos surrounding Drew Kane's sudden health issues.
She calls Brad Cooper.
Brad, I need you to discreetly pull Josslyn Jack's hospital access logs for the past 2 weeks.
Brad groans.
You know that's technically a privacy violation.
Then it's a good thing I said discreetly, Britt replies dryly.
Do it, and get back to me. When she hangs up, Britt glances out the window, her reflection staring back. A pang of guilt flickers, memories of her own secrets, her own lies.
But this is different.
Josslyn's not just playing around, she's hiding something that could endanger patients. In the break room, Portia closes the door behind her and takes a deep breath. Liz's question has hit too close to home. She sits down, whispering, I wasn't going to say anything yet.
Lizzie's concern turns to alarm.
Portia, you are pregnant.
Portia nods slowly. I took a test last night.
It's positive.
Liz blinks. Oh my God. But Portia's expression isn't one of joy. It's fear.
I don't know how to tell Curtis, she admits, voice trembling. He's still dealing with everything. The DNA truth, Trina's distance, his health.
This pregnancy wasn't planned.
And part of me wonders if it's even right to bring another child into this.
Liz reaches for her hand. You need to give him the truth. Keeping this secret will only make it worse. Portia shakes her head. You don't understand.
If I tell him now, he'll think I'm trying to fix things between us. And I don't even know if this baby will survive. I'm older, Elizabeth. I'm at risk.
Her voice breaks.
What if this pregnancy destroys everything I've worked to rebuild? At the pier, Josslyn meets Dex Heller, her eyes darting nervously.
Britt's onto me, she says.
She asked about Drew, about the ICU logs.
Dex frowns.
You didn't tell her anything, right?
Of course not, Joss snaps.
But if she digs deeper, she'll find out I accessed the restricted area the night Drew coded.
Dex curses under his breath.
You should have told me you were doing that. I was trying to help him.
Joss argues. Jason asked me to check, to make sure the dosage hadn't been tampered with.
You know how many enemies Drew's made since he got back?
Dex exhales.
Then we need to cover your tracks before Britt connects you to any of this. Unseen behind a nearby stack of crates, Ava Jerome listens, her lips curling into a sly smile. Well, Ava murmurs. Looks like the Golden Girl isn't so innocent after all. Later that afternoon, Liz finds herself torn between professional ethics and friendship. She promised Portia she'd keep the pregnancy secret, but as she reviews patient assignments, she sees Portia scheduled for a high-risk emergency surgery shift.
Liz hesitates. Should I tell someone? Before she can decide, Finn walks in.
You look deep in thought.
Liz forces a smile. Just tired.
Long day.
Finn studies her face.
You sure? You look conflicted.
Liz's heart races. She can't risk betraying Portia's confidence. It's nothing.
Just hospital stress.
But Finn isn't convinced. He gently brushes her shoulder.
Whatever it is, Liz, you'll figure it out. You always do. When he leaves, Liz exhales, unaware that her silence will soon lead to a dangerous medical emergency. By evening, Britt has the information she needs. Brad delivers the report, whispering, You didn't get this from me. The data doesn't lie. Josslyn accessed Drew's file at 2:43 a.m. the night of his near-fatal collapse. Britt storms into the hospital lobby and spots Joss talking with Carly. Perfect timing, Britt says sharply. We need to talk, now.
Carly glares.
If this is about my daughter.
It is about your daughter,
Britt snaps. And her little extracurricular activities inside my hospital.
Carly's jaw tightens.
Britt, I don't know what you think you're implying. I'm not implying, Britt interrupts, holding up the access report. I'm stating. Josslyn Jax broke into restricted files the night Drew Kane almost died. Want to explain that, Josslyn? The color drains from Joss's face. Carly immediately steps forward. This is ridiculous.
But Britt doesn't back down.
You think I'm stupid? You think I wouldn't notice a volunteer sneaking around? Josslyn's actions could have compromised a patient's life.
Joss's voice trembles. I didn't hurt anyone. Britt cuts her off. You don't know that.
Whatever you were doing, it ends now. If you set one more foot in this hospital without authorization, I'll report you to both the board and the police.
The tension is electric.
Joss looks like she might cry. Carly looks ready to explode. But before either can respond, Britt turns and walks away, leaving behind a silence thick enough to choke on.
Scene 9. Portia's collapse.
Later that night, in the ER, Portia is reviewing test results when dizziness overtakes her. She grips the counter, the room spinning. Dr. Robinson, a nurse calls, rushing forward.
Portia's vision blurs, and she collapses.
Within seconds, Liz and Finn are there. Get her on a gurney,
Liz yells.
As they stabilize her, Liz's mind races. She didn't tell anyone about the pregnancy.
What if this is a complication? Finn looks at the monitor.
Her blood pressure's crashing. We need to run a full panel.
Now. Lizzie's guilt is palpable. She knows she can't keep silent anymore. Word travels fast in Port Charles.
Within hours, Curtis is at the hospital, panic etched across his face.
What happened to her? He demands. Finn answers carefully.
She collapsed from severe exhaustion and dehydration, but there may be other factors.
Liz meets his eyes.
Curtis, she's pregnant.
The world stops for him. What?
He stumbles back, processing the words. A mixture of shock, fear, and something like hope flickers across his face. She didn't tell me.
Liz shakes her head. She wanted to. She was scared.
Curtis whispers, almost to himself, she didn't have to be. Scene 11. Britt's doubts and redemption. Meanwhile, in her office, Britt sits in the dark. For the first time all day, she feels a strange ache in her chest, not guilt exactly, but empathy.
Her phone buzzes. A text from Jason.
You were right to push Joss. She needs to understand the consequences.
Britt exhales.
Yeah, but at what cost? She knows she's right, Joss crossed a line, but something about the way Carly looked at her still haunts her. Maybe she's still trying to atone for her own past. Maybe she always will be. Scene 12. Carly's fierce defense. At home, Carly paces the living room, furious. That woman has no right to talk to my daughter that way. Joss sits on the couch, tears streaking her face.
Mom, she's not wrong.
I shouldn't have gone into Drew's file.
Carly stops.
You were trying to help. That's who you are. But it could have made things worse, Joss admits quietly.
What if I caused something?
Carly kneels in front of her.
Listen to me, Drew's a grown man.
The only person responsible for what happened to him is whoever sabotaged him.
Not you.
Don't let Britt make you forget that. The mother-daughter bond feels stronger than ever, but both know Britt won't drop it. In her hospital bed, Portia opens her eyes to find Curtis sitting beside her, holding her hand. You know, he says softly, you could have told me.
Tears fill her eyes. I was scared.
I didn't want to add pressure when things were already so broken. Curtis smiles faintly. Broken doesn't mean over. This baby, our baby, might be exactly what we need to start healing.
Portia sobs.
You really mean that? He nods, kissing her forehead.
Yeah, we've both made mistakes.
But this time, let's face it together. For the first time in weeks, Portia allows herself to hope. Scene 14. Britt's unexpected visitor. As Britt locks her office for the night, she finds Jason Morgan waiting. You really rattled Joss, he says quietly. She needed to be rattled, Britt replies. She's in over her head.
Jason studies her.
Maybe.
But so are you.
You're digging into something that could get messy.
Britt sighs. You think I don't know that?
But I can't stand by and watch another young woman spiral into danger. Not after what I've done, not after what I've lost.
Jason nods slowly. Then you and I need to find out what really happened to Drew.
Together. Their eyes meet, old chemistry, old ghosts, unspoken pain. The alliance is rekindled. Scene 15. The cliffhanger. The episode closes on a dimly lit hospital hallway. Britt walks toward the elevator, exhausted but resolute. As the doors open, she freezes. Inside stands Ava Jerome, smirking. Going somewhere, doctor? Ava purrs. We need to have a little chat about Josslyn Jacks.
Britt's jaw tightens.
What do you want, Ava? Oh, nothing much, Ava replies, stepping closer. Just to make sure you don't expose something that could ruin a few lives, including your own. The elevator doors close, trapping them together as the camera pans out, leaving viewers breathless and craving Wednesday's episode. Tuesday, October 7's General Hospital promises a whirlwind of revelations. Britt's ruthless determination clashes with Carly's maternal fury, Josslyn's guilt threatens to implode, and Lizzie's compassionate honesty triggers a turning point for Portia and Curtis. By the end of the day, lives are changed, secrets are exposed, and alliances begin to shift.
Britt now knows she's stumbled onto something bigger than Joss's hospital access.
Josslyn fears she's jeopardized everything, including her relationship with Dex. Portia faces the hardest truth of all, a fragile new life at the worst possible time. Liz proves once again she's the moral center of GH, but at what personal cost? And as Ava lurks in the shadows, manipulating the chaos to her own advantage, one thing is clear.